6:04. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing, starting you off at 42 degrees as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. We are talking a lot of education today. We're all over the map, but we're talking a lot of education today. Dr. Cade Brumley slated to join us. Von Iyengar slated to join us. We got a lot of ground to cover. So let's dive. Let's dive right in. Top stories and trending. Mm-hmm. Starts us off at the St. George Council meeting. Residents and homeowners cheered Monday evening as members of the St. George Planning and Zoning Commission voted against the development of a subdivision between Antioch and Old Jefferson Highway. The proposed development, called The Haven, would have added 87 new homes to the area. People who live there now attended the meeting and asked the committee to vote no. Many of the residents said their homes flooded in 2016, nearly flooded again in 2020. Homeowners were also concerned about traffic in the area, which, where this thing was going to be jammed in, would have definitely been a concern. Celebrity chef Emeril Lagasse is opening up a new restaurant in Baton Rouge's L'Auberge Casino and Hotel. The new restaurant, called Emeril's Chop House, described by L'Auberge as Lagasse's take on the classic American steakhouse. It will replace 18th Steak. Construction will begin later this year. On Monday, East Feliciana Parish Sheriff Jeff Travis said that 16-year-old Malik Liggins, who was arrested in connection with a shooting that left 5 people, including a 6-year-old child, injured at a Clinton Mardi Gras parade over the weekend, is being charged as an adult. Liggins was arrested and charged as a principal to obstruction of justice, attempted second-degree murder, and reckless discharge of a firearm at a parade. The head of Baton Rouge area's bus system said Monday he was disappointed by the alleged misconduct that led to the indictment of several people, including a Metro Council member. CAT's chief executive Theo Richards said he would take the opportunity to, quote, correct the missteps of the past and move forward. We'll talk about that a little bit later. EBR Mayor President Sid Edwards is the subject of a recall petition. Paperwork was filed Friday with the Secretary of State's office seeking to remove Edwards as the city parish's chief executive. It alleges Edwards has failed to provide effective leadership, demonstrate transparency and accountability, and act in the best interests of the residents of the parish. The recall effort, chaired by Aaron Banks and Marion Hills, claims East Baton Rouge Parish residents have lost confidence in Edwards. Nearly 50,000 people would have to sign the petition to put the matter before voters.
The House of Representatives is scheduled to take a procedural vote on the bill to fund the government, which needs to pass before lawmakers can take up the measure itself.
Like a dress rehearsal.
I know.
We're going to vote on this before we vote on this. Everybody ready?
And then we're going to vote on it again.
Yeah.
I was reading online that some Republicans were unhappy and wanted extra policies added, like changing rules about voting, but at least one of those members backed off after talking to Trump. So
how about fund the damn government? How about that? Like, let's just start there. There's enough problems with getting enough votes to get this thing across the finish line to keep the damn lights on.
True. Anthony Kazmierczak, the man charged with forcibly assaulting and interfering with Democratic Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, is scheduled to appear in federal court in Minneapolis today.
Did you see the air quote attack?
Yes. And then I had to go watch the video because I saw clips of it, but I never sat down and watched the whole video. What?
Like what leads up to it?
Yes.
And how there's a lot going on here that I want to find out more about. This, it wasn't much of an attack. He squirted water or vinegar or something on her.
Pepper spray. Well, I don't even think it was pepper spray.
No, I think
because she would have felt it.
Somebody said it was apple cider vinegar, which is great for digestion.
Right.
But then he starts to back away and falls into the arms of the guy who was already coming to get him before he got up. I don't know.
Because when I think assault or attack, it's noticeable.
Right.
It's full blown.
Right. This, I don't know. This was so weak.
I know. All right. Police in Tucson, Arizona say time is short to find the mother of today's show host, Savannah Guthrie. Oh, the story.
So apparently, like, she's on a number of medications that she needs, and it's looking more and more like she was actually kidnapped. And
at first, I thought possibly dementia, and she went wandering off. And then they ruled that out yesterday, saying there's no way she could have wandered off, limited mobility. Now they're finding things on the scene that are suspicious.
Right. So, this is going to be, it's going to end up being a sad story, but like
it is.
This is going to grip the nation all week long until we find this woman. I mean, it's like, this is going to have our attention, to be sure.
And unfortunately, I hate to say, if we find her like that, it's still going to be crippling for us. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those headlines. What? And apparently, the little neighborhood that she lived, very quiet, excuse me, older population, some my age, but no riffraff. It's kind of, if you live in that neighborhood, even the neighbors are freaking out, you know?
Yeah. We're at 610 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're going to talk a little LSU baseball in our sports segment today. That's coming up in just a little bit. But first, I need to remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is their website, 180pros.com. Not your IT provider, your IT partner. And boy, does that mean a whole lot when it comes down to it. When you get personal service, I mean, it's a personal level of service. You get same day response time. I mean, provided you're calling within the parameters of a business day, but they'll get out to you same day to make sure you're taken care of. Look, IT companies left and right can build your network, can maintain your network, can tell you they have the best in cybersecurity. 180 Pros shows it to you by making sure that their success is based off of your success. Want to learn more? I tell you what, call them locally here, speak to someone here at 225-330-2200. 225-330-2200, or visit them online at 180pros.com. Quick break. Sports is next. The hell did he find this music bed? It sounds like the Squirrel Nut Zippers. Oh. No, it's all right. Just the front end of it was. Oh, do you have the audio of this commercial?
I can pull it. Yeah,
hang on, let me make it easy on you. Rosher sent it to me.
Yeah, okay, can I play Joe Biden on repeat?
Joe Biden. Thanks to Maya Rudolph, I will never be able to say Joe Biden without saying Joe Biden. Oh, he sent me a wave format. I don't think she did. Defund the police doesn't sound like her. I'm sure if it's in the commercial, it's accurate, but there's probably extenuating circumstances. God damn, this is still running? This is his fourth week. No. This one, he had a different one. Yeah. Did you get it? Because it looks like it's just sitting there in my outbox. There we go. All right.
We don't need it right now, do we? In a minute we do.
6:52.
Okay. Yes.
Do what?
He writes they are going after doing it.
Yeah, they are. And it's just getting started because this is a group that supports Cassidy, not Fleming. If I'm John Fleming, I am throwing everything in the kitchen sink at her face because John Fleming doesn't have to take down Bill Cassidy in the primary. He's got to take down Julia Letlow. That's to be part of what I talk about. So am I off? .616 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is almost baseball season, y'all. LSU baseball coming off of a national championship season and somehow might even be better. No, they don't have Cade Anderson or Anthony Iyengar this season. Yes, they do have a ton of depth, and that depth on this roster might be the biggest factor between last year's team and this year's team. It's a big strength. Fifth-year senior infielder Tanner Reeves says the Tigers' depth is going to benefit them in multiple ways this season. Cut 16, please.
Practice setting, everybody can push each other and get better, elevate each other's games. And then you get into whenever we're playing another team, we can match up with anybody, no matter what's on the mound, no matter what's on the other side. We can really put ourselves in some good positions to play really good.
Gotta love that. Keeping with it, senior Zach York, who transferred from Grand Canyon University, is expected to start at first base for the Tigers. York is known for being a power hitter, having hit .328 with over 30 home runs in 3 seasons with the apparently Grand Canyon is called the Antelopes. He also takes pride in playing really solid defense too. Cut 17.
I think I get discredited a lot over there. A lot of my teammates tell me that I move like a cat over there. Trent Crouere says it all the time that I'm light on my feet, but I think it's a big part. Obviously, I need to improve in every aspect, but defense has been something that I've been knocked on my whole career, but I'm trying to prove people wrong, and I'm excited to show my defensive ability this year.
We'll see. Look, a defensive first baseman is a game changer. Defensive first base is always overlooked. Speaking as a first baseman, defensive first base is always overlooked. But let's rewind the clock back to when we had Trey Morgan. Trey Morgan saved runs. Now, that team produced a ton of runs, but Trey Morgan saved runs. When you've got a defensive first baseman, you've got it all, baby. I mean, it's great to hit .328. It's great to drive in runs. But when you can make sure that ball is knocked down in the infield, when you can stretch it out to turn double plays, the whole works, you save runs. By the way, like many, York dreamed of playing for a College World Series in Omaha since he was a kid. Cut 18.
A little bit of a backstory. My brother was committed to U of A for Coach Johnson. So when they went to Omaha was the first time I think, remember watching it. Obviously, I'd watch Vanderbilt win it, but watching U of A and Coach Johnson in Omaha became a dream of mine at that early day. So that's been a dream, and that's why I'm here. Go back to Omaha and hopefully win another national championship here.
So we got 10 days until the start of baseball season. Friday, February 13th is when things will start off. The Tigers host Milwaukee for a 3-game set in the box. Yes, that does include the Valentine's Day special. You're playing Friday, February 13th, 2 p.m. start on that Friday. You're playing Saturday, February 14th, a 1 p.m. start on that bad boy, and then another 1 p.m. start on Sunday, February 15th. Looking ahead to the very next day is the turnaround here. LSU will be taking on Kent State on Monday afternoon at 3. Fast forward to Wednesday to host Nichols. And then that following Friday, February 20th, they will be taking on Indiana in the Jacks College Baseball Classic. So a lot of baseball coming your way. Very, very heavy right there in opening week. It's 6:20. Here's the Fox Business Report. So Galen says apple cider vinegar, deadly stuff. Couple things. Why apple cider vinegar and not something that can hurt her? If the intent is to attack her, why is it something that says, oh, it smells just a little bit in here? Like, that's number one. Number two, and I try not to dive in on conspiracy theories, but it is difficult, very difficult, to avoid the whole justice for Jussie vibe on this one. So, I don't know. Let this whole thing play out. I mean, honestly, so he's in court today, or is what you report? He's in court today. For what? Squirting apple cider vinegar? What's the penalty for that? Oh my God, throw the book at him. Because that's a paperback book. It's a brochure. It's a leaflet.
But for her to be able to just walk off like that.
Yeah, but he's like a dollar store squirt gun. Pew pew pew.
Yeah, right.
You know? Oh. My phone had an update yesterday, and it's just weird now because I've got a black backdrop instead of
You upgraded to
the new iOS. Yeah. No, you know what he's doing? He's stealing the Flight of the Conchords. You remember them on HBO about a decade ago? They had a whole what was the song? Feu du fa fa, that song. And like they did a verse where like they go to the supermarket and he's just naming things in the supermarket. Yeah. Boeuf. Poisson. Yeah. That's straight up Flight of the Conchords, Feu du fa fa. Well, here we go. We're looking really good to start off your Tuesday morning, as it were. I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. Normally, we've got some delays stacked up by range. Not the case today. I-10 westbound coming in from... hang on. Oh, my word. My apologies, y'all. My phone ran an update yesterday, and it reset all my settings. Let's start over again. I-10 westbound coming in by Range Avenue. Looks pretty heavy right now. In fact, it's going to be stop and go right around the Range Avenue exit. I'm glad I thought about my settings on that one because I would have just completely lied to everybody. It's going to be stop and go around Range. It picks up again, but then slows back down once you get towards in between Millerville and Sherwood. You're going to hit the brakes pretty hard right there. It does clear back up from Sherwood to the 10-12 merge. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great. 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge is good, as is I-110. Looking at your surface streets, there are no accidents to report right now, but there are going to be some slowdowns on Plank Road north of Airline Highway. Plank Road north of Airline Highway. I'm looking at some slowdowns moving in both directions in between Airline and Harding Boulevard. So that's really good traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .625 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So apparently the Saints are going to be playing in Paris this year. How about that, huh?
Oui.
This is you just say we once. I don't know why people say we. Yes. We means yes. So October 26th is what it's looking like. Taking on the Cleveland Browns, which gross. But going to be playing, and the Saints are not strangers to playing abroad. But this is going to be kind of cool because Louisiana has a deep French heritage. New Orleans specifically has a deep French heritage. I mean, it's the French Quarter, for crying out loud. But I'm curious to see how many Saints fans, how much of the Who Dat Nation is going to travel on this one, because this is a great draw. Now, the part that I always worry about when the Saints travel abroad is this an audition for moving out? Because the NFL continues to expand internationally, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before a franchise is picked up somewhere else. So would this be an audition for that? Taking on the Browns on October 26th. If you're curious about that weekend as a Tiger fan, if you're thinking October 26th, well, that's pretty close to when we normally have a bye week, right? Well, not so much. Hang on. Do I have this right here? October 26th is the game, right? Well, it looks like that same weekend LSU is playing Auburn at Auburn. So not a bye, but an away game. So if you were looking to map out your plans, and I apologize if I have this wrong, but if you're looking to map out your plans, you would not be missing a home game if you were to travel to go see the Saints, travel abroad to go see the Saints over in Paris. I love the expansion to the NFL. I really, really do. It legitimately does worry me as someone who is living, or we're in a state that doesn't have a top 30 media market. When you look at what the NFL it grows off of, it is media market, it is ad sales, it is TV revenue, it is the big deals, and we are not in that. We're not in that business. We don't have that. What we have with the NFL is history, and what we have with the NFL is a great partnership since the mid '60s with the Saints getting started in 1967. But what we don't have is just raw numbers. So, love the idea, love the fact that they call upon us from time to time to embrace the idea. But it always does worry me when you send our team somewhere else. It's like, oof, is this a dress rehearsal for them to pick up and move over there? So we'll see. 628 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, going to join us in just a little bit. Man, did you see what happened down in New Orleans with the water main breaking and the sinkhole? I mean, it looked like a rabid flood. And, oh, my goodness, we'll talk about that. We'll recap a little Washington Mardi Gras. We'll chat with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, coming up in just a little bit. Before we take our break, though, of course, want to remind you about the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. Great to see that everything's back on track, back on schedule at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. You had last week's winter storms rolling through. It threw everything off nationwide. Baton Rouge wasn't immune to it. And at the same time, the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, unbelievably helpful in getting people where they needed to go. I mean, there were so many canceled flights that eventually it's just like, I got nothing. But that's not their fault. That's America's fault. That's United's fault. That's, that's trickling down. And I can tell you as of this morning, the first two flights of the morning have already departed. Headed to DFW, that's in the air. Headed to Atlanta, Georgia, that's already in the air. If you're making your travel plans, visit flybtr.com, flybtr.com. Look, I had to take New Orleans out last week and got Baton Rouge on the way back in, and I got to tell you, the difference is all the difference. Not having to haul an hour down the interstate to get where I wanted to go. I bummed a ride down there, so I didn't have to worry about parking on the way back in. On the way back in, the level of service is just so smooth. The level of convenience is even smoother. Learn more at flybtr.com. All right, Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, going to join us after the break. Hey, also on the rundown this morning, Anna Johnson she's with the Livingston Parish government at this point. She will be joining us at 7:15 to give us her recap of Washington Mardi Gras. Our state superintendent of education, Dr. Cade Brumley, joins us at 7:35. We'll talk early childhood education with Von Iyengar in the 8 o'clock hour, and DC Current with Congressman Troy Carter, presented by LABI at 8:35. Didn't lock it out. She just ran over time. No, we call him every week.
Okay. I forget who we call.
Joe Biden.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. It's Talk 107.3. Of course. We'll come to you in like 2 minutes.
Visit LAFarmBureau.org, the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Unleash the wild side of LSU sports. Tiger Rag Magazine is not your average sports read. It's the jungle of jaw-dropping plays, the roar of the crowd, and the strikes of true sportsmanship. Every page of Tiger Rag pounces with in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and stories that leap off the page faster than a tiger chasing a Georgia bulldog. Don't settle for the sidelines. Tiger Rag Magazine puts you front and center of the action. Subscribe now and transform your LSU sports experience. Tiger Rag Magazine, the Bible of LSU sports.
Here's a real life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call the special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people with all this stuff by showing reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, plus learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number, paidforbydebt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820. Talk 107.3 weather. Although it is still chilly this morning, those temperatures are warming.
And good morning, Christy. Welcome in, Boo.
Today under mostly cloudy skies. Some isolated showers will be possible, especially later in the day, but widespread action moves in the overnight hours as another cold front does pass through. Temperatures on Wednesday decreasing to 57 degrees and coming back to freezing to start off your Thursday.
And
Meteorologist Ben Rogers with your Storm forecast. WBRP Capital City Stories, Capital City Voices, Talk 107.3.
.637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along every Tuesday morning. We check in down in New Orleans with Jeff Crouere. He's the host of Ringside Politics. Get kind of a firsthand look at what's going on 1 hour down the interstate. He's on with us now. Jeff, how are you this morning, man?
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Going well, going well. How's things down in New Orleans?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit warmer. It's not as frigid. So we're 2 weeks away from the big day. So things are looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you know what? I need to get myself a guest host. I completely forgot that I need to ask off there. I want to ask you about, because I mean, if you haven't seen the video, you haven't been on social media. The water line break, the water main break, and the sinkhole. Tell me all about, like, how did this transpire? Like, tell me what happened.
Well, I mean, we've got very old, everything is old in New Orleans.
Mhm.
And, these pipes are extremely old. And, it's you're talking about on Panola Street, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it ruptured Saturday night. It was a 100-year-old cast iron pipe. So, it broke in several places. Folks had to navigate all of it. And, it took a while for crews to, be able to make the repairs. So, they had a boil water alert. I mean, we had boil water alerts all the time.
Yeah.
And so they had boil water alerts. And finally, after like 4 days, you're able to drink again. But, it's just part of living in a city with dilapidated infrastructure. So, of course, the images are all over. I mean, it was a massive, I mean, you saw the water gushing out of there. Huh?
Well, it looked like a major flood. It looked like a lot more than just a water main.
Yeah, it was just a massive hole. I mean, it developed. I mean, mud everywhere. So
a car fell in.
Yeah, a car fell. Yeah, it's like, one of these sinkholes that you see in Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they said it was the cold temperature. Said it was, the combination of the cold, combination of the age, and cast iron pipe. So everything's susceptible to cold weather. We don't get a lot of it, and the freezing and the thawing. So it's probably something that could happen all over. If we continue to get very rare cold weather like that. So I mean, we're talking about infrastructure that was installed, in the early part of the 1900s.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 years ago.
Right. And so how does this affect Helena Moreno's agenda coming in? Because it was a very, very pronounced, very viral event that she knows what she needs to get in there and do. But like, this has got to shift priorities on day one, because when is the next one going to bust? It was like when the pumps were going out or the pump stations were catching on fire. You got to pivot priorities to catch up on projects that have been neglected for years.
Well, exactly. And then the council member for the district, who's brand new, Amy McCarran, says, "Hey, we're going to have a hard time finding the money
Right.
for dealing with all this." So, they're going to have to come up with a plan. So, I mean, Helena Moreno was at Washington Mardi Gras, and I think she was making the rounds. Was a big hit. Met the president and all of that, but had to come home early because of all the problems. So, I mean, it's life in New Orleans. It's dealing with an older city, city that has areas that have been neglected for years. So, just add this on, Brian, to all the other infrastructure woes that we have, and the budget challenges that we have, and everything else that she's going to, have to deal with. So,
and it puts leadership in a whack-a-mole situation. I mean, it's, you go to attack this problem, this problem pops up. You go to fight crime, and sinkholes pop up. You go to fight sinkholes, and pumping stations catch on fire. You go to fight pumping stations, and the crime kicks back up.
And it'll be like this the entire tenure. I mean, she's going to have to continually face this. But the good thing is, I think she's going to be competent. I think she's going to be someone who is not going to be distracted. I mean, I don't see her, having the same sort of agenda as Latoya Cantrell, where her agenda was to travel all over the world with her bodyguard. Boyfriend. I mean, I think the mayor's going to be focused.
Right.
So whether you agree with all of her policies or not, I mean, I think she's competent and focused, and that's a big improvement.
You mentioned Washington Mardi Gras for just a quick second. We're talking with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. You mentioned Washington Mardi Gras right there, and I was there, but there's thousands of people there, so different stories make their way through different grapevines and whatnot. What made its way back to you story-wise from Washington Mardi Gras? You hear anything good?
Well, I mean, I think the big one of the big stories here was about the mayor meeting the president,
mm-hmm.
and that connection that was made by Gail Benson and the whole the whole impression that she made, and the connections that she made, and the reception that she got. I mean, that was sort of a big story. That it was a whirlwind for her, but it was productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was certainly what a lot of people were talking about. I know that the president was complimentary, and then you've got the mayor going to have to deal with some of her supporters that certainly didn't like the fact that she was meeting with the president and having the president say positive things about her.
So I'm guessing this was Thursday night, because there was a big to-do over at the Trump Kennedy Center, which protesters
Melania,
out front.
It was the premiere of Melania.
The premiere of Melania was the same night as Gail Benson and Ochsner's party. So you had both of those things going on. And yours truly was not on that invite list, to be sure. No.
Well, I'm assuming you still had a good time, even though you didn't get.
You know what?
Invite,
Possibly best one yet. Possibly best one yet on my end.
Okay.
So, while they're all hobnobbing with the president, I'm over there listening to what's his name, John Foster from American Idol. So I had no shortage of good time on my end. I just wasn't in that upper crust.
He's
right
good.
there.
I mean, my gosh.
Oh
good.
yeah. But one of my bigger takeaways, Jeff, was the political scuttlebutt that comes from Washington Mardi Gras every year. There's rumors about who's going to run for this, or who's about to get knocked down on that. This year was all economic development, workforce development. Like it was all. This was basically the LED party, like Louisiana Economic Development Party. It was awesome.
Well, that's for policy wonks, huh? That sounds good. I mean, that sounds, because obviously that's a big need that we have. And, we need infrastructure. We need investment. We need economic development. We need jobs. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, I'm sure there was no shortage of talk about the congressional race and the Senate race and that kind of thing, though.
So a little bit on that. And the first attack ad's out already. And I believe it.
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
No.
Wow.
Well, timeline wise, Jeff, they got to get it in. I mean, May is just around the corner. So, like, I'm fully expecting things to ramp up quickly.
So, I mean, Cassidy's group's got, a mailer that hits, TV ad that pops, radio ads that start running. I mean, massive entrance.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's got to begin because, not much time. And they want to try to create that first image of this new candidate to a lot of people who don't know her. And now she's got the president's endorsement. And that's what she's going to just follow up with and always respond with, hey, I've got President Trump's endorsement.
We get Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Was bumping around NOLA.com. Got to ask, what's going on with the levee board down there?
Levee board has always been a sort of a scene where there's been drama, always been controversy. And, prior to Katrina, it was a cesspool of political corruption. And really, it was one of the factors that contributed to the failure of the levees, because there were people on there that were there for political reasons and not for, their expertise. And supposedly after Katrina, everything was going to be professional and it was all going to be, just the experts, and they're just going to be focusing on, protecting the city. But it still has turned out to be drama. And, I know one of the ladies in the midst of it, Debbie Satoon, who, has been part of this whole drama. She's been involved for a long time. And part of it is the money. I mean, we're talking about, $15 billion of funds we're talking about with, the hurricane protection system. So I think the governor's trying to put his stamp on it.
Yeah.
And I think there's some resentment there from people that don't want to see, this be another group, that the governor controls.
So here's my question for you, Jeff, and I'm glad you brought it up that way because it's leading me actually where I want to go, is that the governor has shown more interest in New Orleans than previous governors have. The governor has shown that New Orleans has all the potential to accelerate Louisiana into the stratosphere. But every time he tries to help fix a problem, New Orleans pushes back, even though previous attempts to fix problems have helped with those problems. For example, Troop NOLA would be a great example.
Right. And I think it's the style maybe and the way he does it, which he does it very dramatically and very forcefully. And I think there's pushback to that. So, but that's just the way he is. I mean, he takes control and that's what he likes. So yeah, there's going to be pushback and it's going to continue because the governor's the governor and he has his style and people here, want their independence. And the governor, to his credit, realizes the potential of New Orleans and realizes how important New Orleans is to the state, maybe more so than a lot of governors, like, for example, Bobby Jindal.
Right.
Or Mike Foster.
Right.
So this is a new sort of attitude from a Republican governor, but I think it's smart because, New Orleans is the jewel of the state. I mean, I'm sorry to say, it really is.
No, it is the potential to be the catalyst that, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I don't know why battle lines get drawn and people want to push people out on both sides of that, both sides of the equation. The political differences are certainly part of it. Whether you say it's racial, also add that into it, philosophical differences. It's just all kinds of different things. But hey, he sees, I'm glad he sees the importance. I'm glad he sees it's worth the attention. And
this is just another example of the potential conflict, though, because there are a lot of people here that are politically not aligned with him at all.
He is Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Always appreciate the time, man. You got a show to get to. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care, Brian. Thank you.
You too. We're rolling up on 650 at Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break for Your Money Now. We will continue next on Talk 107.3. I missed out on two topics right there. We were supposed to preview Mardi Gras and Facebook. Pay attention to this. You ready for this? This is from the files of It's Not Do I Know You, It's How Do I Know You. Okay? Small world story. I don't personally know the people in this, but we're going to make the world small real fast. Back in the early 90s, like 92, 93, a TV executive was hired as president of programming for NBC. That guy's name was Don Ohlmeyer. Okay? Don Ohlmeyer was the one that brought you Friends, brought you Seinfeld. Don Ohlmeyer was the one that brought you the resurgence of what NBC was, especially like must-see TV. That was Don Ohlmeyer. Don Ohlmeyer was also the guy that fired Norm Macdonald for making too many O.J. Simpson jokes. All right? Yeah. All right. Now, let's go to NOLA.com this morning. All right? Jefferson Parish to lead funeral procession through Metairie for deputy who was killed in crash. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office plans to lead a funeral procession through Metairie on Thursday as part of a memorial service for Christopher Ohlmeyer, a deputy who was killed in a motorcycle crash last week while working an off-duty detail in New Orleans. Don Ohlmeyer from NBC, born and raised in New Orleans. I know, not many people knew that. So what I want to know is Christopher Ohlmeyer related to Don Ohlmeyer? Not that much of a stretch, is it? I'm sorry, born in New Orleans, raised in Chicago for Don Ohlmeyer. Yeah. But that's what I'm curious about. Was Jefferson Parish motorcycle deputy Christopher Ohlmeyer related to Don Ohlmeyer? All right, you got the ad ready to roll?
You want me to let the whole thing play?
Yeah. It's a 60, right?
Yeah, it's a 60.
Oh. Do you know if Tiger has any remotes today? Okay. I'm gonna have to bum a vehicle for one day. So
Okay, yeah. Hey, Tiger.
I'm just well,
It made me gas, though. Every time I get in it.
I'm gonna ask Landon. Yeah, because my car should be ready today, but there's no way I'm gonna be able to get over there today. Slammed.
You brought it to Benny's?
Do what? Vex? Yeah.
That's, yeah. When you asked me, I'm like, do we have a remote? No, we don't have one.
October 25th. Yeah. .655 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. You heard it in news there at the bottom of the hour from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. The first attack ad in the U.S. Senate Republican primary is out. Super PAC, who apparently is supporting incumbent Bill Cassidy, has you know what? I'm not even going to describe it. Let's just play it for you. It's a full It's a 60, right? Let's hear the whole thing.
Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Louisiana's Julia Letlow. What do they have in common? Liberal Julia Letlow voted with Joe Biden more than any other Louisiana Republican in the U.S. House. And just like Nancy Pelosi, Letlow has traded hundreds of stocks while serving in Congress. Worse, Letlow violated federal insider trading laws by failing to report her shady stock trades, potentially millions of dollars worth. But that's not all. Before she went to Congress, liberal Julia Letlow was a university bureaucrat. She instituted radical DEI policies, woke sensitivity training, and the university put up a public art display honoring defund the police activists. Is that what Louisiana wants in the U.S. Senate? Conservatives just can't trust liberal Julia Letlow. Louisiana Freedom Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. LouisianaFreedomFund.org.
I hate attack ads. I really do. By the way, they can all be picked apart. I like a lot of candidates in this race. And again, don't endorse candidates individually. I like a lot of candidates in this race. When Bill Cassidy put his first commercial out, and everyone's like, ooh, Bill Cassidy's chumming up with Trump when Trump already endorsed Letlow. That wasn't dirty. That wasn't underhanded. That was Senator Cassidy doing his job as a senator. His job as a senator is to get legislation across the president's desk for signature. I don't like, I go back to the beginning of it. I'm going to tell you when to cut it, okay? Hit it.
Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Louisiana's Julia Letlow. What do they have in common? Liberal Julia Letlow voted with Joe Biden more than any other Louisiana Republican in the U.S. House.
Interesting disclaimer right there. And I think this ad could have the potential to do more harm than good. Because when you say in the U.S. House, you're not saying on Capitol Hill, you're not saying across the board congressionally, because now someone's going to go back. The return volley for attack ad is to go after Senator Cassidy's voting record. The return volley right there is to say, well, she might have a less conservative voting record than Mike Johnson or Steve Scalise, but she never voted to impeach the president. Pearson Cross teaches political science at ULM. He spoke with our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Cut 10, please.
The PAC is trying very hard to define Letlow to the Louisiana voters before Letlow herself gets a chance to do so.
Which is a great point. The 5th Congressional District, fortunately for Letlow, this time around, or within the last term, with the remapping, she got introduced to a lot more of Louisiana than she previously would have. That jacked up district that she has that runs all the way down, follows the Mississippi River until it hangs a swift left. Left if you're following downriver, hangs a swift left and then travels all the way out to Washington Parish. It covers a good chunk of the state. So she is interspersed into cities around the state that would just, that she previously wouldn't have been. Meanwhile, Cross says Letlow's campaign team is ready to respond to these attack ads. She'll go on the offensive as well.
I think we'll see attacks from her people as well. And the real question is, will Donald Trump come here and campaign with Julia Letlow?
That's a very good question. And the timeline on the closed primary could play into that as well. One more from Pearson Cross, talking about the number of things with Julia Letlow that remain a question mark.
We all know that Senator Cassidy has deep pockets. Will Letlow have money? She needs to push back on Senator Cassidy's onslaught of negative ads, which is sure to come.
One of the side effects of Washington Mardi Gras is money raised. We'll talk about that at a later time, but Senator Cassidy did well. Hour 2's next. Guys, I got to get up and walk around. Yeah? Come on in, Rich.
You doing all right, bro?
I'm
Hey, you
going.
know what, man? Like all the taxes they keep approving for the public school system, I love it because they taking kids down to the river yesterday and they putting GPS trackers on trash so the kids could monitor trash as it flows down the Mississippi River. It's no adult people skills. It's no effective communication. It's no how to write a check. It's not how to change a tire. You know what we're going to do? In 20 years, we're going to look back and go, the reason why this city is getting better is because we took public school kids down by the river and we put GPS trackers on empty milk cartons. Yeah. Come on, Brian.
Hey,
oh, and by the way,
yeah.
I'm going off on these two jackasses with that recall petition on Sid.
So am I.
Oh, am I going off on them?
So
Hey,
am I.
hey, where were you for Boney Jones, Foxworthy? Where were you for Mayor Sheridan Weston Broom? Where were you before Cleve Dunn started working with cats under the table?
Right.
Oh, man, bunch of hypocrites. It's a black-white thing. That's what it is. And
Well,
you know it. I'll say it. Sue me.
I don't know the races of the people who filed the petition.
I bet
you
you.
would assume.
What's a bet? You want to
You do
bet?
it? No,
I'll
I'm
bet
not
you.
taking that bet. No, I'm not taking
The
that bet.
Julios, I got it.
I would assume.
No, I'm not assuming I know.
No, but neither one of them are on social media, so I couldn't find a picture.
Huh, coincidental.
All right. Right. Oh, by the way, yeah, not a word to be said about transparency when it comes to 25
Well,
years.
what happened with Broom? 8 years, nothing?
Broom, Holden before Broom, where you built the entire city parish budget off of federal emergency dollars. When that shit runs out, now the piper's got to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have problems. When everybody's getting fed
It's amazing,
off of,
man. It's just
of
amazing.
national money, nah, it's bullshit.
Oh, Brandon,
By the way,
go back to last.
you know what? Hey,
Okay.
the Cats CEO comes out and says, while this is a challenging moment, I remain optimistic about the future of Cats. Now that this conduct has come to light, it presents an opportunity to correct the missteps of the past and move forward. He basically says this is a blip of the radar.
You do
Hey,
substance. I go off on 10, but check this out.
No.
You got to hit it. You know, the Winter Olympics begins tomorrow.
no,
But
yeah.
the closing ceremony, the opening ceremony is on Friday. But you got to get underway with curling and all that program. You ready
I love
for this?
curling.
So where the U.S. figure skating team, speed skating team, and ice hockey team were staying, their hospitality, their residence, right? Where those group of athletes were staying, they called it the Ice House. Well, they complained, the federations, because that could promote protests, so now they're calling it the Winter House. In Milan, Italy. True story.
Wow.
How nuts is that, Vic?
I was actually going to talk about somebody smoking meth, but and we will, by the way. I got it down for the last segment of the show.
Woo!
I got to stretch my legs.
Alan Johnson. He's losing his mind.
Who is?
Alan.
Alan's losing his mind?
In a good way. He's just fired off.
7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing. We're starting off the 7 o'clock hour at 40 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pro studio. Not your IT provider, they're your IT partner. Learn more at 180pros.com. We got a busy hour for you this hour. Anna Johnson's going to join us, talking a little bit about, so she took a new gig a couple months ago, moving over to Livingston Parish to handle some governmental affairs. She was up in Washington, D.C. for Washington Mardi Gras. Really want to get her takeaways because, number one, she's a good political mind. She has a good eye for the whole chessboard, right? But number two, what are you bringing back home locally, which is always important. We'll talk with Anna in our next segment. And then at 7:35, our State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Cade Brumley, going to be on the hotline. We have a stack of topics to cover there, not the least of which is civics. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm so going to nerd out on this, y'all. Let me find it. Sorry. Huge stack of rundown today. Education Secretary McMahon was back in Louisiana recently for one of the first stops in the History Rocks tour, which is focused on civics education and America's 250th birthday. They held a civics event at the Sophie B. Wright High School with high school students from across New Orleans, and the National World War II Museum hosted an event recognizing Louisiana students for their civic involvement. So super duper looking forward to this conversation. That's coming up later on in the hour. Also later this hour, I've got the prison death story written down at 7:55. We're going to have to blast that out of here because if we don't talk about this cat story,
Please, we have to address the big elephant in the room.
Yeah, it just the CEO of Cats put out a statement yesterday, and that dog don't hunt. So that's the end of the hour. Right now, top stories and trending. No Haven out in St. George. Residents and homeowners cheered Monday evening as members of the St. George Planning and Zoning Commission voted against the development of a subdivision between Antioch Boulevard and Old Jefferson Highway. The proposed development, called the Haven subdivision, would have added 87 new homes to the area. People who live there now attended the meeting, asked the committee to vote no. They did. That area flooded bad in 2016, so I can't imagine adding 87 homes would improve drainage. And when you're butted up between Antioch, it says Antioch and Old Jefferson, but it's a little bit further up Antioch, towards like the backside of the Old Jefferson subdivision. Traffic, which there's a school right there, traffic would have gotten increasingly worse too. Celebrity chef Emeril Lagasse is opening a new restaurant right here in Baton Rouge at the L'Auberge Hotel and Casino. The new restaurant, called Emeril's Chop House, is described by L'Auberge as Lagasse's take on the classic American steakhouse. It will replace 18 Steak. Construction will begin later this year. Yesterday, Sheriff Jeff Travis from East Feliciana Parish said 16-year-old Malik Liggins, who was arrested in connection with a shooting that left 5 people, including a 6-year-old child, injured at a Clinton Mardi Gras parade over the weekend, is being tried as an adult. Liggins was arrested and charged as principal to obstruction of justice, attempted second-degree murder, and reckless discharge of a firearm at a parade. The head of the Baton Rouge area's bus system said Monday he was disappointed by alleged misconduct that led to the indictment of several people, including a Metro Council member. CAT's chief executive, Theo Richards, said he would take the opportunity to correct the missteps of the past and move forward. We'll talk about this before the hour's out. Recall petition out there for Mayor President Sid Edwards. Paperwork was filed Friday, like the day after Cleve Dunn was indicted. Paperwork was filed Friday with the Secretary of State's office seeking to remove Edwards as the chief executive for the city parish. It alleges Edwards has, quote, failed to provide effective leadership, demonstrate transparency and accountability, and act in the best interest of the residents of the parish. A recall effort chaired by Aaron Banks and Marion Hills claims East Baton Rouge Parish residents have lost confidence in Edwards. Nearly 50,000 people are going to need to sign the petition to put the matter in front of voters. What you got?
The House of Representatives is scheduled to take a procedural vote on the bill to fund the government, which needs to pass before lawmakers can take up the measure itself.
Dress rehearsal. Yeah, this will be a big tell. Like if the procedural vote moves through, then the measure should move through.
Right. And nobody can agree on anything always.
No.
Anthony Kazmierczak, the man charged with forcibly assaulting and interfering with Democratic Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, is scheduled to appear in federal court in Minneapolis today.
It's a quick turnaround getting him in court that fast.
I know.
That's I'm gonna be curious to see how this one plays out because he like squirted her with apple cider vinegar. I think was
water. Who knows?
I'm getting everything off the internet, so I don't know what to believe. And after watching the video repeatedly, I really don't know what to believe.
Well, when I saw the liquid at first, I thought it was pepper spray, but when he sprayed her chest. And even if it was pepper spray, you would know. She would have felt back, her eyes would have burned, and she's just like, what is this?
Right. If you're going to attack someone, attack them.
Right.
And then like, oh, by the way, just he squirts the apple cider vinegar and then like backpedals into the security guard who's waiting for him. I
saw that. And she keeps just walking toward him. The whole thing was awkward.
Yeah, I don't like falling into conspiracy theory mode. I really don't, but there's a lot of justice for Jussie around this.
Right. And was it staged?
I don't want to ask that question, but a lot of the internet is asking that question.
Right. Because it was just awkward. The video's awkward. If you get a moment, it's like 1:20 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Police in Tucson, Arizona, and look, this story's heartbreaking. So in Tucson, Arizona, police are saying time is short to find the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie.
So apparently she needs her medication.
She's on several medications, and the police say that it's medications that she absolutely cannot take, and she's been missing since Sunday afternoon.
Live without.
Yeah, she can't live without. And Sunday afternoon, am I correct? Is when she went missing?
Sounds right. I'm pulling up a story right now, or at least a portion of it that I have. The
mom has limited mobility, so she struggles to get around. So that kind of debunks the whole she just wandered off.
Right. On top of that, where is it? Here we go. Medication she needs to take soon or she could die. The Guthries are asking nearby residents to review their security footage captured over the weekend, especially between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. on Sunday. Pima County Sheriff tells CBS News he believes the 84-year-old was abducted. So, like, that's not
early morning. Is when okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this story. And then now investigators are saying a lot of things on the scene is just sketchy. It's suspicious. It's sketchy.
Yeah, when they lean towards being abducted, then that removes just she was out wandering. You know.
Yep. Heartbreaking.
Very much so. We're at 7:12 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We are due up for a quick break. Before we take that break, though, let me remind you about the folks over. Oh, Danny and his team at 5 Star Printing and Signs. 271-4096 is the phone number over there. 225-271-4096. Tell you all the time about the great job he does in collaborating with you to get your business's message out. But this is an election year. He's still here for you on the business front, but he's really here for you on the political front right now. This is his wheelhouse. Yard signs, the big old signs you need the 2x4s to hammer up, the door hangers, the brochures, everything that you need to run your political campaign, he's got you covered. If you need koozies, if you need, any merch with your campaign's stamp on it, he's got you covered there as well. Printshop5.com, printshop5.com, or 271-4096 for 5 Star Printing and Signs.
Vinegar Gate. That's what people are saying about Kazmierczak. like, we never went to 18th State. Yes, we did.
Hmm?
My husband, he's like, we never went to 18th State. He was listening to you. And I'm like, yes, we did. The foods. I'm curious to see what Emerald does with them. Have you had it, 18th State?
No.
Big Lou. Oh, kill mics real quick. (717) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Take you out to Livingston Parish real quick. Their public affairs manager, Anna Johnson, is with us. She was up in Washington, D.C. for Washington Mardi Gras last week. We got a lot of ground to cover. Anna, good morning. Welcome back. How are you? Do we have the phone where it needs to be? Anna, do we got you? Am I in offline? Is she in offline? All right. Well,
Hi.
there she is. All right. Well, whatever button you
Lost
just
you.
hit. Yeah, whatever button you just hit, that worked. All right. Welcome back. How are you?
Good. Getting over the DC travel crud, but I drank a ton of tea this morning so I could be extra peppy for you.
I do appreciate that a great deal. And yeah, that was there's always something about Washington Mardi Gras where we go from this environment to that environment, and we get back to this environment. It's like there's just going to be a scratch in the throat at the very least.
Our bodies can't handle it. I mean,
No.
I was telling everybody yesterday, like, I'm just happy to be back below sea level. Like,
Well,
I can't do it.
well, I mean,
But driving.
well, and the folks who are, pretty pickled the whole time they're there, probably do a lot better than those of us who are there to work. So,
Right.
give me your immediate takeaways. What were your first, and we'll get on the Livingston Parish specifically in a little bit, but I want to lean on your political eye real quick. What were some of your takeaways of the overall event?
Yeah. So, it's funny. I was listening to Jeff earlier, and he kept saying, I feel like the focus was really economic development this time. And he's right. Every single event that we attended had some semblance of economic development, and a lot of it was centered around energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you know, the governor signed an executive order. He created the Louisiana Lightning Speed Initiative. And so with that, he was able to umbrella a ton of things under it, one of them being the whole of Louisiana energy strategy that he rolled out the week before DC Mardi Gras, which kind of fast tracks, what we're doing in the energy sector. But it also aligns with Trump's America First agenda. And so with the resources that we have, the workforce that we've built over time, and just our industrial roots in general, not to mention our port and rail access, why would we not capitalize on what we have here? And so that was really kind of the push for me. I had attended the C100, the Leaders for a Better Louisiana breakfast Thursday
Yes.
morning that the governor spoke at, and he signed an executive order at that breakfast as well, which basically just streamlines the workforce processes that we have in the state and eliminates those barriers, gets rid of the redundancies, and he's basically ordering, these state agencies to work together. And so we have our marching orders, and here we are. And then, that theme kind of rolled into Friday too at the economic development luncheon. He talked about ad nauseum, and so did Susan Bourgeois, about the wins that we've had over the last couple of years, Meta being one of them, Hyundai Steel Mill. He had mentioned, he said something Thursday that really kind of stuck with me. He said, when we talk about statistics and we talk about Louisiana, we've historically been on the bottom. We're not on the bottom anymore. And that's huge for us. And we can finally talk about that. And then Susan and talked about that as well Thursday. She kept saying, this is the first time in history that any state has won a national award for 2 economic development projects back to back. I mean, that's huge. And who thought it'd be coming from Louisiana?
Right.
And so I really thought that theme carried throughout the entire week. And I mean, it just makes me proud to be from Louisiana, and there's so much potential here. And this administration's done a really good job of saying, okay, where can we cut out the middleman, and how can we get these agencies to work together? And, under John Bell, it was a little bit different, but I think, the mentality there was, we've always done it this way, so let's keep doing it this way. And, Jeff is a different mindset where he likes to fast track things. And he even said, he's like, I don't do things slowly. Like, I like to work quick. And, I think all the secretaries and the staff that work under him will echo that sentiment. But, it's turned out to work in our favor. So I'm excited. I think we're on the right track. And I know we've got a couple more exciting announcements coming in the future.
So yeah, we had Economic Development Secretary Susan Bourgeois on the show. We were broadcasting in the hallway right outside of Bill Cassidy's suite on Friday morning. She was on with us. That audio is available on demand at talk1073.com. And like the way she spelled out not just what's already in the bag, not just what's already on its way here, but like her top 25 that they're attacking right now, what they're going after right now, and how aggressively they're going after it, and how they're utilizing wins to spin into more wins. And what I absolutely love is, like, if you look at, our state's median income or our state's GDP, we're in a spot right now where the raw numbers of what we earn are about to start catching up to what's being announced. So everything we're going to do on top of that is going to continually it's going to look like like not just a pyramid, but like, you remember that video game Hubert? It's going to look like Hubert's pyramid. That's we're going to start boing, 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 jumping up the board there.
Well, and we're starting to get national attention too. And I know you're going to have my friend Cade Brumley on later this morning, but I mean, just in education too, I think, and I know he's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, like the 4th grade math and reading levels jumped substantially year over year. I think we're somewhere like 16th nationally. I mean, and think about that. A year ago, we were at the bottom.
Right.
And so, when people are looking to come here, put projects here, or relocate their families here, these are all things that they look at. Like, what is the quality of life? What does the education system look like? What is the beautification? What tax incentives does the state offer? And so these things are all starting to, I feel like, come to fruition. And I mean, it's only been, we're in year 2.
Right.
So I can only imagine where we're going to be in year 4 under this administration. But I mean, the excitement's there. And I really like that Jeff's just kind of like, let's just do this. You have your marching orders, whatever route you need to take to get to the final outcome, like, let's just do it, do it and ask for forgiveness later. And I feel like that's the track that we're on. And he's assembled a really, really great team. And, every time I hear Susan talk, I mean, just the enthusiasm that she has. And, I feel like LED has been reformed so much, over the last 2 years, where they're engaging more with local EDOs and locals in general, but they're asking for our input and what can we do to simplify things. And then they've done a really, really good job. I feel like Jeff's administration's done a really good job of marrying LED with Louisiana Workforce Commission. And it's like, why weren't we doing this before?
Right.
Like,
Right.
but a good example of that, and I'll just tell you this, is the Hyundai project. And so I think that's what this executive order that he signed last Thursday exemplifies. So you had Hyundai that came in and they're like, we have this huge project that we're going to put in Donaldsonville, but we need 1,500 workers. Who do we need to work with to get to that number? Because we don't have 1,500 workers readily available. So they partnered with River Parishes Community College. And then you couple that with, the incentive package that they're getting with LED. And so now you're starting to see a company and 2 state agencies work together. And this is how this project has been able to come as fast as it has. And they've got such a vision of how they're going to build out this workforce. And we all benefit from it, because if Hyundai's dumping the money into River Parishes Community College to develop this program, this doesn't just benefit them, it benefits the community as a whole. And so I think that's kind of what Jeff sees, like, oh, okay, I see how, we can all partner together, how we can make this work for businesses, for the education system. And it was really nice to see, you had Richard Nelson at the table signing, you had Susie Schoen, you had Susan Bourgeois, you had the governor, you had Jeff Weibel. So, I mean, you had a group of rock stars who are committed to seeing this out. And so that's exciting. I mean, if we can duplicate the efforts that we had with Hyundai, I mean, just imagine where our state's going to be in 2 years.
Well, and that's to say nothing. And Hyundai is in Ascension Parish. That's to say nothing of a $17.5 billion investment into Southwest Louisiana from Woodside.
Right. That's the other big one. That was, one of the 3 big wins is Woodside, Meta, and Hyundai.
Yeah.
And so,
Well,
but I mean, you hear Donald Trump talking about this, and then, you've seen him on platforms with the governor touting the education and how that's working. And so I know they're working with Linda McMahon. I know Cade's been working closely with her, and she's made a couple of visits to our state, and you're really starting to see us get national attention. Like, hey, what we're doing is working. And so I feel like our state's going to be a success story, in 2 years, and it'll be a great case study for other states to mirror.
So when you're talking about education, you talk about business environment, you're talking about, packages and incentive or tax incentives and the like. And by the way, Anna Johnson is our guest. Anna, the one thing you haven't mentioned here is peer pressure part of this. One of the things that companies from time to time will look at is, what are other companies doing? What is trending right now? Who is trending right now? And we are very quickly becoming, I hate to put it in these terms, but we're becoming the cool kids table.
We really are. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of this? I mean, and that's the cool thing, is it's not just, when Trump was elected, let's unleash energy dominance.
Yes.
And so who was the first state to kind of fall in line with those marching orders? It was us. And you see Governor Jeff Landry's agenda kind of mirroring what the Trump administration is doing. And look what it's done. I mean, I don't think people realize, like, 70% of the LNG that's exported comes from Louisiana. 70%. That's a huge number. I mean, that's a resource that we need to capitalize on. And so, but that opens the door for other things, because while we've historically always been an oil and gas state, you want to open your book of business for other things, because you don't want to be, a Michigan where they're just straight automotive. And then when you have a crash, that's it. The whole town came down. And so what we're starting to do is to branch off into these different niches and open our book of business and branch out into these other sectors to basically ensure that our state is, going to be profitable for the fruition of it. So I mean, that's exciting. He's got a vision. It's not just, what are we doing today, tomorrow, this week? It's where are we going to be in 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now? And so, these policies and these executive orders really kind of help the prosperity of our state. And so I'm excited.
We were also supposed to talk about Livingston Parish, but now we've got less than 60 seconds left in the segment. Can we get you back on real soon to actually cover what we were intended to cover?
Yeah, we'll have to do a legislative preview too.
Yeah, 100%. She's Anna Johnson. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always. It really was like that, though. It was announcement after announcement after announcement, story after story after story. And I got to be honest with you, I like where there's a break in the clouds and we can start telling positive stories about Louisiana. where we could stop being curmudgeons all the time, walking away from a business deal saying, yeah, now how's it going to screw up? Moving up. It's a new spot to be in. So I'm more than happy to embrace it. 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Speaking of moving up, we're moving up the charts on the education front as well. Superintendent of Education, Dr. Cade Brumley, joins us next, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. I have to clean up my coffee cup because the coffee tastes like ass now. And I think it's my cup. What?
Downstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It just tastes burnt all the time.
yeah, I think it's my cup.
No, mine tastes that too.
Oh, well.
I wonder if those bags have gone bad. Because coffee can go bad. And it starts to taste sour.
Well, because it gets huge delivers at once, and then we get them like a month later. I don't know that they're old enough to go.
Right.
Washington, D.C. for Washington Mardi Gras last week. We got a lot of ground to cover. Anna, good morning. Welcome back. How are you?
Good. Did ever the DC travel?
Get back on. It's nice. And 100%. She's Hannah Johnson. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always. Thank you so much.
Joe Biden. Talk 107.3. Hey, Cade, we're going to be coming to you in less than 2 minutes, okay?
Oh, pour water first, then sit down.
Yep.
Dumbass.
we're switching from
Do I?
we're switching from R19 to Spreaker, so your episodes they may not go up today. Michelle's hoping to have everything switched over, but they will go up.
Okay. What happened yesterday? You just crossed up conversations?
No, so what I normally do is I'll transcribe the whole thing, and I knew, and when I fly it into, first I do ChatGPT, and I look over everything, and I fly it into Grammarly just to triple check my grammar. And I just
But what was written was part of a different conversation at a different time.
I know. And I don't
So-
know where that would have transcribed from, because I transcribed that.
Well, is the audio correct?
Yeah, the audio's correct. I was
So the client was the one who let me know. New Orleans and Company pays for that segment.
I was wondering.
Yeah, that's sponsored content, just like Medical Monday is. So we pay extra special care, extra special attention to those who are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, the audio is correct. I don't know where, and my turbo scribe is what I use. It's always right. Every now and again, I'll the misspelling of the names, and I'll have to go through.
Which is typical Chat GPT shit, but like.
That's the first that it was completely off.
Yeah.
Ooh, that spot needs to be trimmed. It was like 4 seconds dead air.
Talk 107.3 weather. Although it is still chilly this morning, those temperatures are warming and we're going to get to near 70 degrees today under mostly cloudy skies. Some isolated showers will be possible, especially later in the day, but widespread action moves in the overnight hours as another cold front does pass through. Temperatures will stay decreasing at 57 degrees and moving back to
Seven 737 Talk 1073 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Let me take a quick moment to remind you about Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com, been around since 1897. They started off way back then just as a community bank, right? Well, here in 2026, they are a community bank committed to the mission for well over 100 years now. LandmarkBankLA.com. If you find a location in your community, go to LandmarkBankLA.com, hit the About Us tab, the little drop-down menu right there. It'll show you where the locations are. Why is a community bank important? Because these are your neighbors. These are the people you see in line at the grocery store. These are people that are with you right there in carpool or hot yoga or whatever it is you do. They're the people who can help you, whatever you're saving for, whatever you're investing for, whatever you're borrowing for. They've got you covered. And I don't even need to tell you on the business front about the importance of having a banker and not a bank. A banker will get you through PPP loans. Remember COVID? Yeah. LandmarkBankLA.com. All right, joining us now to talk about a little update on the educational front in our state. We've got our superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, with us. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Really excited to be with you today.
Well, you got a lot going on. I mean, there's Secretary McMahon was recently in town. Civics is front and center now. Where do you want to dig in?
Well, we've had a weather event, particularly in North Louisiana over the last couple of weeks. It's really been significant. I think at one point, that first day after the storm, we had about 500,000 kids out across the state. We were able to, bring more and more back every single day. And I think today my tracker shows we have about 13,000 kids out. So real progress, but I don't know that people, particularly in the capital region or southeast or southwest Louisiana, appreciate the degree to which northeast Louisiana really got hit with ice. And it was a bad situation. And so we're thankful to have kids back in school.
Okay, so then I'm glad you started there because, yeah, it is kind of out of sight, out of mind down here. Everybody had Monday off last week down here, and that was kind of the end of it. We did talk with Monroe's mayor while we were up in Washington, D.C., and he was kind of spelling out what a lot of the damage was, but rolling into another week, and we're still there. I appreciate the progress report.
Yeah, it's good news, making progress, but, kids being out of school for that long, is just not good with what we're trying to do for them and for academic outcomes, but we'll move on. And, today we're on the road Brian. I'm in Jeff Davis Parish and Acadia Parish and Lafayette Parish today, just visiting a collection of schools, trying to spend some time with teachers and kids and community to talk about what we're doing and what we need to be doing to get better.
Well, I tell you what, if we could keep with the the kids who are out of school and whatnot, Dr. Brumley, I know here in town a lot, it's easy to focus to remote learning if you've got power. What do we do when that many people are without power? You're just hamstrung at that point.
Well, I think it's a challenge to say virtual learning when so many of the families don't even have electricity at their home.
Right.
So oftentimes, as negative as this might sound, it's oftentimes best to just cut the loss and then reschedule the day, as opposed to trying to figure out some remote type option where not all kids have access, not all teachers can deliver instruction. And I just have found over the last 6 years in this role, even through the COVID work, that oftentimes when you can just reschedule a day, as opposed to say, oh, this is a remote day or a virtual day, I would rather just have a back to school, in school, face-to-face, solid instructional day, as opposed to just trying to piece something together. So we found that it's better to do it like that, as opposed to trying to make do with limited options.
We got our education superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, on with us. Okay, now I do want to pivot over to the recent visit by our National Secretary McMahon was in town. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, look, we hosted Secretary McMahon with us in New Orleans last week. And what's interesting about that is I don't know of another state where she has visited twice within the last few months. She was with us to kick off the school year. We are the state she chose to kick off the school year, and then she was back with us essentially last week to elevate the civics and history work that we're doing here in the state. We have the best history standards in the country, our freedom framework. They're built on, the successes, the stories, the struggles, the sacrifices of Americans over the course of time. We have put in place a number of new efforts on civics, whereas, kids have to take a civics test before graduating high school. They can get an endorsement on their diploma if they master civics instruction. If they are proficient in civics, they can walk at graduation with a red, white, and blue honor cord. So we're doing a lot of stuff in our state to really elevate U.S. history and elevate civics, because I feel like a great national security risk that we have is that less than a quarter of all students who graduate high school across the country are proficient in history and civics. And we've worked and endeavored to change that in the state of Louisiana. I think the country's taking notice.
It's one of those ones, Dr. Brumley, where you look at where the national discussion is right now, and you have to wonder if that gap in civics has led to a gap in understanding each other. It's bigger picture, I see, but
Yeah, well, what I would say about that is I think that we have oftentimes in classrooms encouraged students to, go out and join a campaign, go be part of a protest, go do a march, go do these types of civic engagement type activities. But action civics without an understanding of civics is dangerous. And so I think the reason that our history and our civic standards in Louisiana, the reason they're so important is because they teach students the facts about civics, the facts about the history of Louisiana and our country. And so they're better informed when they go and participate in civics within their community. And I just think it makes for a more informed citizen beyond high school.
That's exactly my point. And the more we have an understanding of how the entire system works from a municipality all the way up to our federal government, the more you can understand that, the less likely we are to be at odds with each other instead of talking with each other.
Well, look, civics and history education outcomes throughout the entire country are sneaky bad. Yeah. We talked a lot about reading and math not being where it needs to be, but truly civics and history proficiency across the country are worse than reading and math. And we have really been aggressive on this front. I don't know of a state in the country that has been more aggressive on this front, and we are seeing those results in proficiency numbers with kids when they are assessed on both history and civics. And so it's it's affirming to us and the work that we're doing. It's affirming to the teachers across the entire state with the emphasis we've put in this spot.
We got our education superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, on with us. And I know I'm being like completely anecdotal and down a rabbit hole, but like I posted something on my Facebook last night about a recall petition for the mayor. And within 3 comments, you have Donald Trump's name dropped in there. And I'm like, these two things have nothing to do with each other. It's like, let's get around to where we get what the system is. Now, that being said, we all want a better comprehension and understanding of what civics is and the rights and duties and responsibilities of the citizenry. That being said, though, how do we build that in without taking our eye off the prize with math and with literacy and numeracy?
Well, I mean, look, I could talk about this topic for a few hours with you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I think too, over the course of decades, a focus shifted away from history and civics to what we now call social studies, which is, you know, an amalgamation of all these different disciplines that roll up into something. And through all of that process, I think that, you know, enough attention was not given to, you know, what is the true history of our country? What are the papers, the places, the people that are a part of that magnificent story of the greatest country in the world on a quest for a more perfect union? But at the same time, what are the civics that underpin that government, both at the national, state, and local level? So there's a lot of work to be done there, but you know, I'm bullish on Louisiana and our kids and our teachers here, and I think we're seeing the progress there, and so hopefully we'll see a change.
We got our education superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, on with us. Dr. Brumley, we've got a legislative session coming up. Any legislative priorities your office has?
Well, we think that we've worked well with legislators, and they've worked well with us over the last few years to pass a number of really student-friendly and teacher-friendly reforms. And those reforms are in place. They're working. So I think more than anything for us this year, we're just looking to maintain those efforts. Obviously, anything that will reduce the burden on teachers, we support that. Anything to help support workforce development out of high schools, we're all in on that. And anything that's around going back to the basics of ensuring that teachers have the ability to teach kids to read and do math, we're supportive there. And anything that's going to expand options for parents where they can choose the school that makes the most sense for them. I mean, those are the things for which our agency is structured. And, you know, we're going to be very interested in legislation around those things.
Got exactly 1 minute left with Dr. Brumley. Want to kind of give a preview here. Teacher Leader Summit, early registration is not far away.
Yep. Look, every summer we send our teachers to summer school. And last year, I think we had 6,000, and we're hoping to have the biggest Teacher Leader Summit ever. This year, our theme is going to be Big Ideas Start Here, because we know that if you look around the country, Louisiana is the story for education, and our teachers have a story to tell. And so our theme is going to be Big Ideas Start Here. We're going to have teachers with us for 2 or 3 days of, you know, from early morning to late evening training. Registration opens on Monday, February 9th, and we just encourage teachers from across the state and systems to apply to come and join us in New Orleans for a couple of days of development.
It is, if I can just editorialize real quick, one of the most uplifting events to see all those teachers fresh off of a school year that just concluded. They should be dragging. They should be laying on a beach somewhere, and yet here they are, all full of fire, ready to get better at their job for the next school year around. To see them rolling into the Montreal Convention Center just with that level of passion, it's uplifting.
Well, and this summit that we have coming up, Big Ideas Start Here, and we're hoping to have the largest event we've ever held.
He is our education superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley. We always appreciate the time, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brian. Take care, man.
You do the same. It really is. When you see those teachers rolling in there, you would think, like, you just finished a school year. You need to be worn out. You need to be wiped out. Quite the opposite. They're ready to get under the same roof with other teachers, collab a little bit, learn a little bit, get better at their own gig. Then they'll take some time off for the summer. So it's really a great event. I love the fact that I get invited out to that every year to do the show there. All right, 7:50. Here comes your money now. All right. Anything good in the chat this morning?
Alan's just saying we need to get Cassidy on. I'm like, we just had him on.
No, I need to get Blake Miguez on. He's MIA right now, and I need to find him. Also, don't look now, but I'm growing sympathy for John Fleming. Are you kidding me? Like, my heart is breaking for because he's being attacked at every turn. And like, someone took his picture on the flight home from DC and said, John Fleming flying first class in the middle of the day, in the middle of a work day, coming back from Washington Mardi Gras. Well, first of all, his plane ticket is on his dime, not the state's. And secondly, he's the state treasurer. He needs to be at Washington and Mardi Gras because he's having thousands of meetings with people left and right. It's such petty garbage. And it's the crap that keeps us down. And like it, I'm gonna end up down like 8 different rabbit holes, and I'm gonna piss all over the press club before it's all said and done. There are people who do, and there are people who bitch. And if you ask me which team I want to be on, I want to be on the team with the people that do. Even if they're not always doing what I politically believe in, I want to be on the team with the people that do.
Oh, Debbie said bring Miss Letlow too. We'd love to hear her response.
She's on tomorrow, 8:35. Yeah. $7:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're going to get you to ABC News here in just a little bit. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk early childhood education at 8:15, and we do have DC Current with Congressman Troy Carter at 8:35. That's presented by Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Looking forward to that conversation. We're going to recap Washington Mardi Gras again because not so much gets done, so much gets started. The next chapter of Louisiana isn't written there, but the rough draft is. And there's importance to that. We'll talk about that with Congressman Carter coming up at 8:35. Got to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. If you've been battling with anxiety or depression, or someone you love is battling with anxiety or depression, and the antidepressants don't work, or you just hate the way you feel when you're on the prescription drugs, if you are treatment resistant, visit neurojust.com, Neurojust, neurojust.com. They specialize in transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is a different type of therapy. It's FDA approved. There are no side effects. You see over 85% response rate. And oh, by the way, your insurance will pick up the tab. Okay? Your insurance, they go to great lengths at Neurojust to make sure you're covered. Learn more at neurojust.com. You don't have to constantly be in that fight or flight battle. Calm those waves that are rattling around inside your head, splashing around inside your head. Visit neurojust.com. So we saw a bunch of indictments come down over the last couple of weeks involving some vendors at Cats and whatnot. We saw Metro Councilman Cleve Dunn get indicted. We saw Metro Councilman Cleve Dunn go to prison on Saturday. The CEO of Cats, Theo Richards, put out a statement yesterday. I'm going to read that statement to you right now. In light of recent indictments involving vendors who held contracts with Cats in 2021 and 2022, I am deeply disappointed by the alleged misconduct. This behavior is not consistent with the values of this agency. Cats is entrusted with serving the public, and protecting that trust is central to everything we do. While this is a challenging moment, I remain optimistic about the future of Cats. Now that this conduct has come to light, it presents an opportunity to correct the missteps of the past and move on forward with integrity, accountability, and transparency in our business practices. I accepted the role of CEO with one clear goal: to support and advance the vision of Cats. That vision is grounded in providing safe, reliable, and high-quality transportation for the communities we serve, with safety and integrity at the forefront of every decision we make. I remain fully committed. You know what? I got to stop there because we got like 45 seconds left. I've got to stop there. Theo Richards says, this behavior is not consistent with the values of this agency. Didn't they fire their CFO last year? Didn't a comptroller test positive for meth back in 2022? Weren't there allegations of bills not being paid and millions of dollars missing that same year? Didn't they remove Bill DeVille as CEO, then move him over to another role while keeping him on salary? Didn't the board's vice president back in 2022 call the entire agency dysfunctional? Why, as a taxpayer, would I believe anything other than its dysfunction? Why would I believe that those aren't the values consistent with the agency? We got to get hour 3's next. I need a longer segment for that. I have a rant. Like, I got a whole thing. Good morning. How many people am I going to have on air? I've got 3 microphones, and I kind of need one of them.
So, Shanoa and George can be your 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be just your extra.
Okay.
So, how was DC Mardi Gras?
It was awesome. I never saw Vinith.
Oh, he's all over the place. He had a meeting Monday before, so
Really?
he didn't want to go.
He didn't want to go?
He didn't want to go at first. Then the governor said, "You need to go to this meeting and make sure you NTIA people are good. We're gearing up to get our recipes."
Okay. Well,
They're adamant to let him go for all of those.
well, and then like every 3rd week, the government shuts down. So, and then meanwhile, our representation that's on the Appropriations Committee wants to run for Senate instead. So, yeah.
It is fun though. Fun to see.
It is. Oh.
I'm sorry. Hi, good morning.
Oh, Vaughn, this is Bree Lynn, my producer.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Brittany. Okay. Apparently, there was a delay coming out of Zachary. I know. A wreck. Yeah. So Shanoa is probably around. She'll be around 8:10.
That's fine.
You're good with 8:15 anyway. Checking on George. I'm sorry. That's okay.
It's background noise, It's better than listening to the commercials.
It's an automatic reflex in my head when I'm trying to concentrate. That's what happens when you have a 21-month-old baby.
How is the little guy?
So about 22 months now. So he is so very active. He's bossing the knee, so owning the house for sure. Going to that terrific twos.
Oh boy, choose are now
Terrific.
fun.
I know. I don't even need to do gym anymore.
So yeah, I had a very productive Washington Mardi Gras, but like I missed out on a lot of things that I normally do because of the weather.
Yes.
Like I did not want to venture too far from the Hilton because Ubers were like scarce.
Yes.
On Wednesday and Thursday, they were a lot harder to find than they were on Friday because nobody wanted to work. They were still plowing snow off the roads on Friday.
When did you come home? Like
I came home Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he took the last flight on Friday night because they were saying, "Oh, there might be some cancellations."
Because it refroze. There was another drop, but it was all dry.
Okay. Good thing.
But yeah, everything Saturday morning pushed back by an hour, like because like you didn't want pieces of the plane freezing up and whatnot.
Yes.
That's kind of important.
That's right. Well, good thing at least it was just an hour delay.
Yeah.
Benito was supposed to arrive at 11 p.m., but then he got home at 1:45.
Wow.
Yeah. Still.
Well, my trip up there, everything from BTR that was on American canceled, and everybody moved over to United, and I wasn't in that number, so I got left out. So I had to pivot and book Southwest out of New Orleans. So my Wednesday started at 5:45 a.m. at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. I got to my Airbnb at 1:45 a.m.
Oh no! Good
Morning. Hey, doing good. You've been on the show before, haven't you? Yeah.
And this is Miss Britt. Hello. How are you? Nice to meet you. Hello.
#806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lennon producing. We've ticked up to 46 degrees to start off the 8 o'clock hour in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk early childhood education. Shanoa Thompson, George Bell slated to join us. Coming up this hour, we got Congressman Troy Carter, DC Current, presented by LABI. Cannot wait to have that conversation with the congressman. Literally walked past his hospitality suite at Washington Mardi Gras 24 times and never saw him once, which stinks. Actually, a couple times I walked in, poked my head in to see if he was in there, and interrupted private meetings. So I moved on. But we'll have the congressman on coming up with us in our next segment. Right now, though, I'm sorry, not our next segment, our 8:35 segment. Right now, though, we have This Day in History.
All right, let's dive into it. In 1887, to avoid disputed national elections, the U.S. Congress creates the Electoral Count Act.
The what?
The Electoral Count Act. I'm assuming that 1887, that had to be way before the Electoral College and all that. But I would almost guess this sets the precedent for all that.
Okay.
The 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution happened on this day in 1913. This was the authorizing federal income tax. It was ratified on this day.
Awesome.
1917, U.S. ocean liner Houstonic is sunk by a German submarine. On the same day, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson breaks off diplomatic relations with Germany. 1959, the plane crash known as the Day the Music Died kills musician Buddy Holly. This was his whole thing, that he hired the plane after heating problems developed on his tour bus. Oh,
and
gosh.
Richie Valens and the Big Bopper.
Yes.
Yeah, all three.
Morbid day. 1962, U.S. President John F. Kennedy bans all trade with Cuba except for food and drugs.
Okay.
In 1986, Pixar Animation Studios is spun off from Lucasfilm.
Cool.
It was the one that headed up the original Toy Story, the Toy Story 1, The Incredibles, and so many more movies that we know to this day.
Okay.
And it was backed by Steve Jobs.
Okay.
1986, U.S. President Ronald Reagan announces formation of the commission to take on what happened with the Challenger accident.
Interesting.
1993, the federal trial of 4 police officers charged with civil rights violations and videotape beating of Rodney King begins in L.A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That did not go well.
1994, President Bill Clinton lifts the U.S. trade embargo against Vietnam. On this day, in the year 2000, New Orleans Saints hired Jim Haslett as the team's 13th head coach.
Okay.
2002 Super Bowl 36 was in the Louisiana Superdome. In that game was New England Patriots. They beat the St. Louis Rams. And the MVP of that game was Tom Brady. Super Bowl 47 also took place on this day in 2013 when it was now called the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. In that game was Baltimore Ravens defeating San Francisco 34-31.
Yeah, that's not the big news about that game.
I know.
Wait,
Oh, wait, the lights went out.
That's
in
the
the
blackout game. That's
dome.
right. That's when Beyonce shut the lights out And yeah, changed the momentum of the game. You had the blackout for a hot minute. That's right.
Oh, Lord, take me back. All right. And on this day in 2018, Saints rookie Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore were named offensive and defensive rookies of the year. But this was the first time teammates swept those awards in the same year.
Yep. All right.
What you got?
No, my big two were the day the music died and the Super Bowl blackout. So I got birthdays. I got a ton of birthdays.
Okay, so let me see what I have for birthdays. Sean Kingston is 35 today. Let's see. Morgan Fairchild, born in 1958. She has a birthday today. I'm not really. I'm done with birthdays. What about you?
Gangster Pretty Boy Floyd, born on this day in 1904. Nathan Lane, born on this day in 1956. Norman Rockwell in 1894. You also had Felix Mendelssohn was born on this day in 1809. Isla Fisher was born on this day in 1950. She's an actress. And from the world of sports, born on this day in 1968, Vlade Divac, born on this day in 1960. Wrestler Kerry Von Erich.
Oh my gosh.
His movie was filmed here, right?
Yeah.
The movie with the Von Erich brothers was filmed right here in Baton Rouge. And born on this day in 1945, quarterback Bob Greasy.
Huh. Okay. Unfortunate deaths on this day. 28th president of the U.S., Woodrow Wilson, passed away in 1924.
I had that one and one more to go along with it.
I know. And of course, we covered the unfortunate day the music died.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see any other notable birthdays on this day. Let me see.
No, we're good. That's it for the birthdays.
Okay. National Day today. National Golden Retriever Day.
I got Carrot Cake Day, so I don't really care for either one.
Well, don't you love carrot cake?
I love carrot cake, but it doesn't need its own day. I'm not down with an individual cake gets its own day.
But Brian loves his carrot cake.
No, I do love my carrot cake. Oh, BRQ. Best carrot cake in Baton Rouge, BRQ.
BRQ.
Oh, yeah. Unpaid endorsement right there.
Okay.
Yeah, unpaid endorsement right there. Oh, it's ridiculous. All right. That's this day in history. Hey, before we take our break, let me remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com. Spell it out on the website. ONE, OneBathAndClosets.com. If you live in an older house in Baton Rouge, and let's be honest, a lot of us do live in an older house in Baton Rouge, do you really want that 1975 bathroom anymore? Do you really want that green bathtub and green toilet staring at you anymore? Give David Duvall and his team at One Bath and Closets a call. 400-8005. 400-8005. Of course, that's 225 because he's here locally. I'll tell you right now, I can speak to this firsthand. My wife and I, we dove in late last year, called David, said, let's redo the master bathroom. He came in, did his whole thing. We cannot be happier with the results. I mean, of course, taking our lead the whole way along, holding our hand the whole way along, making sure everything was to our specificity and exactly what we wanted, and it came out to perfection. You want to learn more? Give David a call. 400-8005 for One Bath and Closets. Oh, all right. Do what? Okay. Okay. Come on over, y'all.
How do you spell your first name? Yeah, S-H. Okay. S-H-E-N-O-E. Okay. It's Thompson or Thomas? Thompson. Oh, how you spell it? T-H-O-M-P-S-O-N. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Did I say it differently again?
No.
She always
Vaughn,
teaches me about
I can't
You have
hear.
one in
I'm
or two.
partially deaf. I need
What?
to wear ears.
One in or two in your name. It's
one in.
yeah.
One in.
Yeah. It's
For some reason in my phone, it's got two.
It's okay. It's right. I'm gonna leave you my phone just in case.
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
You know, we got to put some social stuff. Where would you like
Always.
us to sit?
Here and here.
Okay. How are you again today?
Fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Yes. At least once a year you're visiting.
Right? It needs to be more often.
It'd be more often too.
Oh, Vaughn, what's your title?
So I'm the administrative director, and Ms. Shinola is our executive director.
Okay.
Where the hell is George?
He got held up in the meeting. Last minute stuff, but it's okay. It's early ed week. I know. And so we have a big culminating activity that his United Way is spearheading on Friday.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that we are highlighting for February. So we can talk about early ed week. Early ed day, opening up portals, the whole shebang for February. I like these high chairs.
Do what?
I love the high chairs.
Yeah.
I got one in my office because I usually work standing, so it's easy to transition with that high chair. But I like this armrest though. Mine doesn't have it, so I don't get to relax. That's her goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I find myself once I'm sitting down, I just stay sitting down. My watch tells me I have to get up.
There you go.
Actually, glad for the reminder.
Yes. That's right.
$817 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're going to dive right back into it in just a second, but I do need to remind you, we're counting down. Y'all only got 2 more king cakes to give away. Carnival season is here, and Mathurns wants to put a fresh king cake in your hands. Simply go to talk1073.com, click on the contest tab to enter. Every Thursday through Mardi Gras, me and Breland pick a winner, and your king cake will be waiting for you if you are the winner over at the Kenilworth location of Mathurns. Happy Mardi Gras from Mathurns and Talk 107.3 FM. All right, February, along with Mardi Gras, is also early education month. Joining us now to talk about exactly that, we got Shanoa Thompson and Von Iyengar with us, both the director and the administrative director for EBR Early Childhood. Good morning. Welcome back. How are y'all both doing this morning?
Good morning.
Let's get you right up on that mic, Von.
Yes, sir.
There
Good
you go.
morning, Sir Brian. Wonderful to be here.
Glad to have y'all in here. Always glad to be talking early childhood education. We had Dr. Brumley on earlier. We were talking more civics than anything.
Yeah.
But this has been part of his wheelhouse as well. When it comes to early childhood, when it comes to early ed month, what are some of our main goals here? What are y'all looking for?
In early ed month, we talk about
Slide up. There you go.
in early ed month and celebration of early education, we talk about why early childhood matters and the investment. As you know, it's not funded by our state and it's underfunded across our nation.
Mhm.
So this is a chance for the community to come together to talk about things that our state has been doing to promote early education, and also how can we invest more as far as getting a millage, especially in the Baton Rouge area.
Okay, so that involves getting people to understand the importance of early education, and that's
right.
where the hurdles need to be crossed.
Mhm.
Before we get into the necessity of, let's get into the demand for. What are we looking at numbers wise when it comes to those who need early childhood education and can't afford it on their own?
So about 18,000 babies are born in our Baton Rouge community. And of the 18,000, only 30% have public access to seats.
Mhm.
That leaves about 12,000. In our network, we have about 5,000 seats that we have. So it's a disproportionate number. And so that's why the investment is very important, because a child brain is still developing up into the age of 3. So the earlier that we can get that child into a high quality seat, the better chances of that child going on to making it to 3rd grade, reading, writing, and speaking, and computing math well. And so the cost of early childhood education, daycare, childcare, is very expensive. For an infant, it's about $300 a week. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, got one.
And once you go beyond infant, I mean, it doesn't get cheaper.
Correct.
So with those kind of numbers out there, what's the messaging? Well, let's start with the messaging on which you lend to it a little bit with setting them up for success.
Yes, sir.
But let's go a little bit deeper into that and talk about how early care is education, because you're going to, all too often in this overall discussion, we run into this dichotomy of early care is education, but early care is also child care, freeing up an economic development aspect of this. And I think one gets lost. For some reason, we can't seem to argue both. One gets lost in the other.
Yes, it's so important. It's just like building a house, establishing a solid foundation. So the earlier that we can begin from infancy, when that baby's in that womb, and when that child is born, we have that time to look at the social, emotional skills, language development, and of course, the social skills. And crime prevention. There's study and research that shows that if we start earlier intervening, our crime rates are going to go down, because we are graduating children on time and on level. But if we're not, they're dropping out. They can't be productive citizens. That is a key issue, and the research does support it.
We are talking early education. This is Early Education Month. We got Chenoa Thompson and Von Iyengar in with us. Let's keep on this on the demand end for it. Where are we lacking in Baton Rouge?
We're lacking in our North Baton Rouge area. We have in that North Baton Rouge area, we have populations of renters in that area. A lot of our elderly communities, they're living in that area. So we see just a lack of seats that are being filled in that area. So, but in our southern end, mid-city, we are booming. We are busting out of the seams. Some of the schools we're asking, can we just get another classroom? But they can't. So that's where you see more of the demand in our south end and mid-city.
So you mentioned the millage a little while ago. Those aren't very popular right now. Not that they ever are, but I mean, when you look at your assessment, there's certainly plenty of them. What kind of numbers would we be talking about here in order to get something productive done?
Numbers as far as funding?
Yeah.
Funding, we are looking at, I know New Orleans, they did a little bit over $3 million. And so we know that right now it costs us for a 4-year-old seat, it's about $585 per pupil per month. And so if we do the numbers, we're looking at $3 million or more. And that's just an initial investment. But of course, as our economy continues to grow, we will look at how do we sustain that and how do we add on to that each year.
Rather than, I mean, or with the millage being, an idea, what other ideas have been explored for funding?
Right now, we are working with a BRAF. We've worked with some other community investors. They've been donating. And my great colleague here, she's spearheading that, and I'll kind of let her talk about the fundraising piece.
Yes. So what we have in the state right now is a state matching fund. We call it Early Childhood Matching Fund, wherein every network, which includes us as Early Childhood Community Network, as a lead agency, we have to raise funds locally. And that's non-state, non-federal. So before, it was really hard to crack it open in our community because we need to do the advocating, campaigning, educating everyone to understand why this is necessary. And so this year we are so grateful because we have collaborations with the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. We have also our EBR Foundation. We have other organizations such as La Force. We have United Way as well as partners. And so this past January 30th, we actually raised around $1.5 million. $150,000 that is submitted to LDOE for a matching fund. So that's the same amount that we're going to receive. So incoming school year 2026 to 2027, we're going to have $2,100,000.
2.1 million is a decent number, but we
Yes,
can go
sir.
up from there. No, the reason I ask about not rather than the millage, but the other opportunities of funding is because just coming back from Washington Mardi Gras, where workforce development is a huge, huge issue, and making sure we have a maximized workforce is absolutely essential to the growth of our area. So
That's right.
my curiosity is in, like, with this being such a workforce issue, are the businesses moving to town willing to take on some of this load as trade off somewhere, not to like create some kind of shell game, but trade off somewhere that says we can incentivize you on this end if you will help out with early childhood on the other end.
That's one of the things that we are working on right now. We have actually the school readiness tax credit, but that's not enough, especially for the business side, because it's only 5,000 credit.
Right.
So we are aiming for the tuition donation tax credit, but right now it's only focused to K to 12.
Okay.
We want pre-K to be included in that.
Yeah, because I mean, I want to say statewide, if I'm remembering this from some notes, statewide we're looking at over $750 million a year is lost in absences from employees. So if statewide we're losing $750 million, that seems to be incentive enough to let's get moving on recouping that money first.
That's right.
So that's where my curiosity went from there. We're talking early education with Shanoa Thompson and Von Iyengar. We got about 4 minutes left in this segment. Let's talk a little bit about how investing in early care and education is investing in both short-term and long-term educational and economic success. This is another one where it gets to be difficult to sell the message because the message doesn't come to fruition overnight.
Right. It's a long-term goal thing.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about how you convince taxpayers to make that long-term investment.
So when we think about looking at the long term, we look at right now, the third grade data shows how prisons are built when we have lack of children who cannot read and write. So it goes back again to that crime rate. So if we can get kids reading by third grade, and that takes time, like you said, that investment, because we start tracking them. And the good thing that Dr. Brumley and his team is doing is that we have accountability set up for even babies as young as 0 months old. We go in and we assess the teachers on how well they are spending academic measures with them, speaking to them, singing to them, because those are ways that they're learning. And then those milestones, if they meet them, how they're going to meet those milestones when they become a toddler, 3-year-old and 4-year-old, therefore getting them ready for kindergarten. So now we're showing, and we have the data to prove, if we can get them to meet those milestones and we can get them to third grade, they have that chance to go on and graduate. So that's the investment. And for us to follow the data to show, to get skin in the game is going to help to say that what we're doing is working, because we didn't have anything to track it beforehand.
So how big is our data set right now? Or a reliable data set? How big is it right now?
That's a great question. So right now, we are one of EBR Early Childhood Network is the second largest in the state, next to New Orleans. We have the school system receives the letter grades, but we receive ratings: excellent, high proficient, proficient, approaching proficient, and unsatisfactory. We have a high proficient rating, and we have, again, about 5,000 children from infants all the way to pre-K 4 in our network.
I'm going to pause you right there, because earlier you said we have 18,000-ish there roughly in the parish. So if 18,000 are in the parish, we're only serving 5,000 of them. That's a huge gap.
Yes.
That is a huge gap.
And by the way, that 18,000 is actually just in the economic disadvantaged family.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Another important clarification. That was actually much larger.
Correct.
So, we got 1 minute left. So let's put a button on what we're asking for here and what kind of timeline we're looking at.
We are asking that parents who have infants all the way to pre-K 4, please make sure you contact us at ebrearlychildhood.com to enroll in your child's investment as early as possible, because we want to make sure that we can get them meeting those milestones at each level. Mm-hmm. And so Early Ed Week is celebrating the success we're already doing with this high proficient. We're going to move up to excellency, and we're working to invest dollars with donors across our community until we can get to that millage.
Shanoa Thompson, Von Iyengar, thank y'all both so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank y'all for popping in. We are coming up on news, traffic, weather. We'll start with ABC before we hear our local news. We'll hit traffic, we'll hit weather. Congressman Troy Carter is hopping on board next. Little DC Current presented by LABI on Talk 107.3.
We took more of the most important thing.
Oh my goodness. The unpacking from Washington Mardi Gras continues. The call lists stack up, the appointments stack up. As many people are under one roof at the Washington Hilton. It's the follow-up where everything happens, y'all. This is Mornings with Brian Haldane. It is 8:38 at Talk 107.3 FM. And you know what? It's time for DC Current. Joining us now, Congressman Troy Carter, representing Louisiana's 2nd Congressional District. Congressman Carter, welcome back, sir. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, my brother?
I am doing very well as well. I don't know how. Your hospitality suite was 2 doors down from the LSU suite where I was broadcasting from. I don't know how I didn't see you the entire time.
You know what? I was on such a stick and move schedule. I was scheduled to be in multiple places all at the same time. So I was literally in, say a few words, next one, say a few words, next one, say a few words, answer a question or two, present, take photos, toast, have fun. It was the recipe for the entire week, but it was phenomenal. People had a fantastic time. People all over Louisiana. It literally is Louisiana converging upon the nation's capital to do some business and have some fun.
No, absolutely. So much gets done. And if you could just elaborate on that a little bit, because your role as a congressman, you are going to churn through as many of your constituents as possible to make sure everybody gets a little bit of face time there. I don't think folks quite understand like the just how hyperactive the schedule is.
You know, my wife refers to these kind of events as mandatory fun. It's fun, but you're working, right? So in theory, it's supposed to be fun, but it's very much a working experience. From addressing the various economic development groups, the industry groups, the community groups, the groups of academia, the groups of nonprofit, and everything in between, the royalty, toasting the princesses, attending the economic development luncheons, talking about the new Xavier Hospital, Xavier Medical School, working with industry to demonstrate the importance of coexistence with communities that deserve clean air and clean water, but industry is important as well. So how do you balance those? And everything in between. So you have everyone in town, from those industry leaders to citizens who come up to see, and students to see how Washington works. And you're right, you got a short window of time. You have literally thousands of people who are here, and you try to touch as many of them as you can during this period, all at the same time, having fun and conducting business.
And then now
So
this week,
Mardi Gras, so much more than just, throwing beads and hailing the royalty. It really is a chance to talk about funding, talk about policy, talk about relationships. No other delegation in the entire Congress can boast of this type of gathering from people coming in from their home state.
Does anybody even try? I've always wondered that. Like, does any other state out there have something that would be, I don't want to say comparable because I don't want to put them in our league, but something where they're at least making an attempt?
No, certainly not even close to this scale. I mean, of course, everyone has weekly fly-ins with their particular specific industries or entities, but nothing even close to this magnitude or with the level of significance that Washington Mardi Gras provides.
So this week and next week and probably the week after that, they're all follow-ups on what the number of conversations. Like you had a number of meetings laid out, and then walking in between those meetings, you see people in the hallway. There's follow-up from that as well. So the next 3 weeks, I'm sure the calendar's full too.
Next 3 months. I mean, it keeps going because what this does is these are either follow-ups to previous meetings, continuation of those meetings, or beginning of new ones to talk about new projects, talk about funding. We had an open house in the office where we invited, and we had a packed house of people coming and going, from university presidents to department agency heads and leaders from all over, elected officials, the like. The mayor came by, the new mayor of New Orleans came by. multiple mayors throughout my legislative district came out, members of the legislature, local government, leaders of universities and academia. But then we also had everyday hours in the hospitality suite, as you mentioned,
Right.
where we had food and drinks, and people packed in and had a great time.
You mentioned economic development a little bit right there. Let's follow up on that particular topic because, Congressman, I found that this Washington Mardi Gras in particular was so much more economically driven than politically driven. In the past, there's, scuttlebutt in the hallway, who's running for this, who's attacking this person and the like. This particular Washington Mardi Gras, I felt like was much more focused on jobs in the state and workforce training in the state.
Well, there's always a mix of both. It's in this building. It's hard to escape the scuttlebutt of who's running against who and what's doing what. But you're right. Economic development is and should always be the core of why we talk about and why we gather. Because at the end of the day, whether it's business, industry, community, academia, healthcare, nonprofit, it's all about the security of our state and what makes it all tick. Which is critically important. So we talk about each of those moving parts. Economic development and making sure that economic development reaches all sections of our community. From the worker standpoint, making sure that they earn a livable wage, that they can care for their families, to the farmer who grows the product, to the shipper who ships the product, to the manufacturers at the point of sale. It all blends together. And when we do it right, we do it harmoniously, recognize that all parts have a stake in its success.
Hey, what is your follow-up role on that point? Because, your job as a congressman is what when it comes to making sure economic development in the state? Like, you got Governor Landry's job, you got Susan Bourgeois' job. How does your job complement and or, add to theirs?
We are the coal that goes into the engine. I mean, we're the fuel that makes the little engine that could actually can. We provide the resources. Federal government provides a substantial amount of the financial juice, if you will, that keeps the motor churning.
Yeah.
So our role to economic development is to make sure that we are partnering with the state and local government to provide resources in the way of appropriations and regulation, streamlining regulations, making sure that we're expediting the permitting process from the federal government standpoint without diminishing the value of safety of the people who have to come in contact with it, health and wealth concerns, and making sure that we're helping legitimate organizations that are meritorious of funding get their paperwork done properly, get it into the system, defend and fight for appropriations to bring money back home.
We got Congressman Troy Carter on with us. This is DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. You can learn more about your state's Chamber of Commerce at labi.org. If we could, Congressman, I could talk about Washington Mardi Gras all day because I'm such a huge proponent of it. So many barriers dissolve when you're up there. So many relationships are forged while you're up there. But we do have a couple of other topics to hit while we've got you on here. You took part back in your district, if I'm not mistaken, a field hearing for Homeland Security. It was just before the freeze, wasn't it?
Yes, we did. It was right in the middle of the freeze, actually. So much so that we almost had to cancel it at least 3 times. And kudos to the mayor and the president of the city council for accommodating us in the city council chambers. Although city hall was closed, we were able to still open in order to do the hearing. We also had earlier that morning at Greater New Orleans Foundation, we had a roundtable discussion, which was very popular and well attended with noted activists and stakeholders, both victims as well as those who work in the space of human rights. Mm-hmm. And so we had a fantastic hearing. We had experts, we had people who had been directly impacted by immigration and the overstep, if you will, of ICE agents that we see happening all over our country. Listen, I certainly recognize the importance of having immigration enforcement. What we don't need is a Gestapo ICE that is out violating people's rights. No one is suggesting that we don't have enforcement, but we're saying that the way ICE has done it, the way we see it unfolding all over the country, this is not a Republican or Democratic issue. This is an issue of civil liberties and people's rights that are being violated every single day. And listen, I am going to do everything in my power to see that ICE, as we know it, is no more, that we have a system where we have an organization that will enforce immigration, that will set up legitimate rules for people to become citizens. But you don't do that by beating up and murdering American citizens along the way. And that the hearing gave us an opportunity to hear from various people from various backgrounds, to answer the tough questions, to hear the concerns head up from local leaders who are the ones that are having to deal with this, albeit having no communication or interface with ICE agents. How do you come into a municipality and not talk to the mayor, not talk to the police chief, not talk to the sheriff? If you say you're here to help, shouldn't you coordinate those efforts? If you were coming to my house to help me, you wouldn't break in the middle of the night.
Right.
Wearing a mask,
Yeah.
no less.
The so results of the field. I'm looking at the clock right now, Congressman. We are straight up out of time for today. I hate to leave it right here. Can we promise that when you're on next, we talk about potential solutions and what ideas you would like to explore on that front to make sure that
Yes, because I've got a lot of solutions, a lot of ideas, ones that I believe would benefit the community as a whole. Look forward to having more time with that. Thank you so much for always accommodating us. God
always,
bless you, my friend. Have a great week.
Oh, you do the exact same. Always appreciate your time, and I'm sorry we missed each other in the hallway probably 30 different times over the last week. That is Congressman Troy Carter. And yeah, I didn't I hate cut that off because I knew where the conversation was going next. He's not presenting problems or criticisms without solutions. He's got solutions, but the damn clock caught us. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we will close out the show. Let's talk a little bit about this petition to recall the mayor next.
That needs to be a sound bit. I'm like that.
Yeah, it could be. That's not bad. See, this is one of those ones, y'all. This is one of those ones where I love Congressman Carter. I'm probably going to disagree with half of the stuff he's got to say about fixing immigration. But like I said, he didn't come to the table with criticism without having potential solutions. So we'll hear his potential solutions, and then we'll hear other potential solutions on the right. No, by the way, the president started the conversation last week saying, whoa, we may need to peel shit back a little bit. Like that layer of the onion has been peeled back already. So if we're open to conversation now, then where does it go next? And that's where real discussion will be had. And that's where Troy does his thing. So eight different news stories I haven't gotten to yet. Son of a bitch. Absolutely not.
I wonder when our thing's going to be moved over to Spreaker again. Okay.
We were on Spreaker before and we moved over to.
And I don't know if you probably talked to Dave already. We're going back because the ROIs just started there. Michelle tried and let it breathe and let it, and she's like, no, we're going to go back to what we knew had better return in the first place. I think what they're doing right now is trying to get everything to merge over. So she's like, don't touch it. Bye. Have a good day.
Later, Rich. .856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Don't forget, Methurns is your headquarters all Mardi Gras season long. You know where to find them on Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth. The Methurns at Kenilworth is your king cake headquarters. They got a gigantic display in there. It's this huge alligator, and they've brought all the best king cakes in from all around the land. Joe's Cafe, Haydell's Bakery, Nona Randazzo, U-Bigs is in there, Kaluta's is in there, and of course they've got their own as well. Whether you're talking about original, whether you're talking about filled, whether you're talking about as fancy up and down the variety as you want, they've got you covered. Now, we're getting around to parade time, right? Orion's going to roll. Artemis is going to roll. Spanish Town's going to roll. Downtown Baton Rouge, there is a Methurns right there that's literally one block off of the parade route. So when you get to the parade route, you're like, oh, no, we ran out of beer. Well, re-up over at Methurns. Oh, no, the kids want some snacks. Re-up over at Methurns. They've got you covered, both Methurns at Kenilworth and Methurns downtown. Let me give you one more, okay? Baseball season starts up next weekend. Softball season's around the corner as well. Methurns on campus has got you covered for tailgating. So Methurns downtown for the parades, Kenilworth for the king cakes, and then of course you got Methurns on campus for the upcoming seasons. All right, we're about to get out of here, and I want to get into another story. I don't think we have enough time to do it justice, but there's been a recall petition filed against Mayor President Sid Edwards, and I think it's absolutely dumb. We talked about it in top stories and trending. I gotta wonder here, okay? And I'm going off nothing but gut. I want to be very, very clear. This is not based off of anything I've heard, anything anyone's told me. There are no numbers here. There's no empirical data on either side. I'm just going off of gut. But does anybody else find it odd that was it Wednesday or Thursday, Cleve Dunn got indicted, and then on Friday, a petition was filed to recall the mayor? Does anybody else find that timing odd? I might be wrong about this. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. We're going to learn more about it as time wears on. But does anybody else find that timing odd, especially when there's so much talk behind the scenes about, are there more indictments to come? Are more people going to be involved? Who else is listed here? Does this not feel like a total misdirection from the start? And the vague reasons for the recall, no transparency. Transparency about what? No accountability. Accountability for what? The job that the mayor's done since he's been in there, he's done what we've asked him to do. He's doing his best to manage a budget that dried up of federal dollars that we became dependent on like a bunch of junkies. And yet here we are where, he's trying to be the adult in the room to run things on a level that we can actually afford. I don't know. The whole thing just stinks. We'll talk about it more as it wears on. Got to get out of here now. Moon's next. All right. My phone has been freaking blowing up this morning, and I don't know why. So I know. I don't know if I said something or I know that there's holy shit. Let's see.
I've been hearing it go off all morning.
Yeah. All right. Central Mayor. Oh, okay. There's a lot more to come with the Smitty's bullshit out of Tangipahoa Parish. Wait, who? All right, I gotta get out of here because apparently I have 6 phone calls to make in the next hour before my meeting starts. So, guys, thank y'all so much for playing along. We shall see you on the morrow. No, Thursday. No, we pull a King Cake winner Thursday. Okay.